Welcome to Book Time with Ryan. I am Ryan, and today I'm doing the literary dinner party tag. I'm going to be inviting some friends from BookTube. I'm going to invite some authors, dead or alive. We're just going to assume that they come in their living state, though. And some characters, and we'll go through some prompts. I will include the prompts in the description area. I was tagged by a very literary Carrie, who I really like her channel. Check it out. I'm going to include a link to her channel, but she's got really fun, smart content, and I think you'll enjoy it. I recently, within the last month or two, discovered her channel. She has opened my eyes to a number of other channels, which I really appreciated too. And I will also include who I'm tagging. Now, the prompts here, the guest list, who I'm tagging, which booktubers would you invite for this literary dinner party? I'm not going to tag everyone. I've done a number of tags recently, and I've tagged people throughout. So if you're one of those people that have been tagged recently, if you interact with me, if you comment on my videos, if you've tagged me before, just if you're involved in any way, if I subscribe to you, you're tagged. I guess this has been around for a while, so I'm probably late to this party too. I'm fashionably late. We'll say I'm fashionably late to this party. Just consider yourself tagged. Specifically, though, I should tag one person since Carrie specifically tagged me. I'm going to tag Expedition Through Pages, and I'll have a link to her channel too down in the description. I'm going to be reading the prompts on my laptop, so you're going to see me look down. That's what I'm doing. Number 1. When you're at a dinner party, do you ask people what they are currently reading? If not, why not? Have you received any great recommendations at a dinner party for a book to read, or had an especially interesting bookish conversation there? I am generally not bringing up what I'm reading or asking what people are reading at dinner parties for one major reason that I'm not is because I don't go to dinner parties. I don't know the last time I've been to a dinner party. Even before COVID, we'd go over to people's houses for dinner, but it wasn't really a party. Just kind of chilling. And I don't know if that's the business casual of dinner parties or what. I'm happy talking about books. It's just I don't know if we don't associate with people that talk about books a lot or what. We just don't bring it up. If I do bring it up, it's pretty short-lived. I have brought up books at work, especially when we were in the office. That's an area where people will respond. Not so much at dinner parties. And there's no reason that we don't specifically. We just have other topics, I guess. Books don't come up. And I've never received a great recommendation at a dinner party. I've never had an especially interesting bookish conversation at a dinner party. And I honestly can't remember the last time I went to a real dinner party. So that's sad, I guess. Are people really going to dinner parties a lot? Are people dressing up for dinner parties? I don't know. And also, we have a 3-year-old, so dinner parties are, if that's what they're called, they're really trying to get a 3-year-old or to sit and eat her food and stop getting up and running around and playing with her food. So, not the most conducive environment for dinner parties, but. Number 2, which authors, living or dead, would you invite to your dinner party? These invites can go out one at a time or in groups to various authors who would get to meet each other. I'm inviting all of these authors to one dinner party, and I included their pictures on my thumbnail, which if you forgot what the thumbnail was, look at the end too. There are also characters in it. I would love Ted Bell, who is living. I would love John le Carré, who is no longer living. Tom Wolfe, who is no longer living. Herman Melville. Hank Searles, Peter Benchley. Dan Simmons, who is living. Kimberly Martin, who is living. William H. Hudson, who is not living. Edwin Sutherland, who is not living. Am I leaving anybody out? I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but there's a chance I'm leaving out. I don't know how we'd seat people. If we go every other person, living, dead. Let's just assume that everyone's in a good state, and the fact that they may be living or dead is not an issue, because that could get awkward. You think about it, having them sit at the table and then being like, hey, you're dead, but here's some stuff I want to know. It seems kind of like we're using them. So let's just pretend like they're in their living state and that they don't know they're dead, and we don't really know they were dead either, and we're just enjoying each other's time. Can we all go with that? The ground rules for the night? That would be cool. What characters would you like to invite? Ooh, this is going to make the dinner a little interesting and a little dangerous. I would invite, in my thumbnail picture, it's Alec Guinness, but he is representing George Smiley from John le Carré's novels. I would invite Alex Hawke from Ted Bell's novels. Let's invite Ishmael, maybe Ahab. We're going to invite Moby Dick. We're going to invite the bull sperm whale from Sounding. And we're going to invite 3 related great white sharks from Jaws, Jaws 2, and Jaws the Revenge. They're all at the table in the picture. I think if we invite Moby Dick and Ahab, it could get a little awkward. So let's just invite Moby Dick. And let's assume that everyone's going to be on their best behavior and the environment just works, even though we're not going to be in water typically. It's just going to work out. I thought about inviting Snowball from Animal Farm. This would be an interesting time to have him come and speak. And I know that there are characters from Dan Simmons' books that I would like to have. I just don't have them readily available. There are characters that are villains that would be interesting, but I think would make for an awkward experience at a dinner party. So I'm picking people or animals that I think would be okay. I realize that the Jaws sharks could create some concern, but we've got our very, very large and powerful sperm whale friends to help us out with that too. And maybe I should invite Chief Brody. I don't know, but I think that's a good mix. Number 4, have you ever wanted to invite a historical figure after reading a biography or autobiography about that person? Who would it be? Maybe. I think when I read about Roberto Clemente, I thought he would be a very interesting person to meet. He was one of my grandfather's favorite baseball players, and Clemente, the book about him, was really interesting. I don't get too excited about historical figures. They had their place. They did some great stuff. It's nice to learn from their experiences. It's nice to learn about them, but I guess I don't really like fanboy that. So I have read some biographies. I just don't know if any have really led me to really want to hear from them, from the subject of the biography or autobiography. Number 5, who would you serve at one of these parties from questions 2 through 4? Or perhaps, what would one of your literary guests bring if you hosted a potluck meal? Well, I'm not a very good party planner. I'm probably more of a party pooper. And every party needs a pooper. That's why we invited me, party pooper. That's me. Some of these are easy. The 2 sperm whales would like squid. Typically they would like squid. They'll eat other stuff, but squid's probably their favorite. So let's bring some squid. Let's bring it raw. The Jaws sharks, we may not even need to bring anything. Just have some of our guests available after the fact. Especially if we bring the Brody family. That's a little dark. Meat. We'll bring some meat for the sharks. I think most of the characters probably want to drink. I'm not a drinker. But we'll bring something for them to drink that's alcoholic. I'll be having a Diet Coke. I don't know. Honestly, I think most of the books I read are not, besides Jaws and Moby Dick, they're not really centered on eating. If Ahab comes, he can bring a leg of lamb because he doesn't have a leg. I also don't know what people would eat. I know that Ted Bell has had an MRE, so we could bring an MRE, meals ready to eat. I have my favorite food, but I just don't think it's really dinner party food. Number 6, what is your favorite meal scene in a book or a screen adaptation of a book? I think my favorite meal scene is when Jaws eats Hooper in Jaws. Because in that book, I really did not like Hooper. And in the movie, Hooper gets away. He climbs out of the shark cage and gets to safety. He swims down to a rock and kind of hides while everything else is happening. Way to go, Hooper. Thanks for helping. In the book, Hooper is killed in the cage. He's crushed and chewed. And I think out of all the characters, there are other characters I dislike more than Hooper, but I was very okay with Hooper being killed by the shark. So I think that's going to be my favorite meal scene from a book. Take that, Hooper. That's what happens when you screw around with other people's wives. Number 7. Dinner parties aren't the only times people share food and drink. Are there literary scenes you love where characters get together over brunch, afternoon tea, picnics, cocktails, etc.? I can't remember any. I do think that a lot of the crime, mystery, spy thriller books that I read involve exchanging information over drinks or over dinner, especially at clubs, especially at exclusive clubs in England, in London. But I don't have any, there aren't any that really stick out to me as unique experiences. The books I've been reading are not really centered on food. Number 8. Name one of your favorite cringeworthy dinner party scenes in a book or adaptation. Oh, here we go. This is Jaws again. I'm sorry, these are so many Jaws scenes. There's a scene in Jaws, the book. This doesn't happen in the movie at all, which is why you like Brody's wife more, Ellen, and why you like Hooper more in the movie. Ellen leaves her job a little early in the day. She meets with Hooper in a diner outside of Amity, and they have lunch. So it's not really a dinner party, but they have lunch together, and they get a little dirty, and they start talking about their fantasies. And it's pretty hot stuff, but it is. She's married. And then they go and they do some of it, too. They go to a hotel and hook up a bunch of times. It's pretty cringeworthy, considering Ellen's status and what Hooper's doing, and kind of the impact on Brody, Chief Brody, but that's probably the only one that I can think of that's cringeworthy and disturbing if you are not expecting it. When the pandemic ends, what will you serve at your first dinner party or take the first potluck you attend? I don't know. What is the pandemic gonna end? I hope so. I've talked about my favorite meal in some tag or some video in the past, which is a roast beef sandwich. I call it roast beef deluxe, which I got at Phillips Deli. When I went to visit Tennessee, I found out that Phillips is gone. There's a building in its place, so I'm sad about that. But there's a deli near me that makes the sandwich similar to the way that Phillips made it. And that's something, but I don't really think that's really a dinner party meal. I like green bean casserole. And I think that's probably close enough to a dinner party food that we could do that. So I'd say that. When I'm thinking dinner party, I'm thinking kind of dress up or a bunch of different couples. And I can't remember the last time I did that. I'm not even sure if I have done that. I've done like couple on couple dinners where you eat with like friends, but not like a party. So maybe I'm too narrow. Am I thinking of what a dinner party is? I don't know. But that's my dinner party tag. We're gonna have a nice mix of authors. We have a nice mix of characters, some danger to this dinner party, some very interesting meal selections for some of our guests, and I think an opportunity to really experience an interesting night. So thank you for being here today, Carrie, a very literary Carrie. Thank you so much for tagging me. Exposition Through Pages is tagged next if you haven't done it. If you haven't done this and I didn't tag you and you're watching this, consider yourself tagged. If you're watching my videos, you're one of my BookTube community members. So I don't know who's done this and who has that, especially if it's an older tag. So thanks for being here today. Thanks for coming to the party, and I will see you later. Bye.
Real hot girl shit. Me and Dua Lipa finna get the party lit.